G'day guys, welcome back to Beers and Breakevens, brought to you by Blue Wealth Property. They make investing in property easy for you. We had Mort in here last week. They've got a webinar coming up where you can go into Blue Wealth headquarters out there at Homebush, or you can do it via the webinar Thursday, 27th of April. It's a 6:30 p.m. kickoff. Rent vesting, Timmy, we learned a bit about it last week. How good?
We did, mate. Very sort of interesting stuff. It's great to have Mort come in, as you said. Son of NRL royalty. Great man, Mort, and very insightful, mate. Like, it's hard to, that's why we try to press to go and see him, get in contact with Blue Wealth, because until you sit there and chat to him, you don't realise how easy it all is.
Oh, we're at the Canterbury game the other day talking to Morton behind us with a big poster of his old man taking up the whole wall, celebrating I think it was the 84 premiership. Wild stuff.
So good. I've learnt so much from that mob in the past 12 to 18 months. And the rent vesting stuff in particular is essentially live where you want to live, because it might not be the best place to buy. You buy elsewhere, essentially where Blue Wealth tell you to buy, whether it be the sunny coast, Perth, all these good places to buy at the moment. And then you live in Coogee or Wollongong or wherever it might be that you want to be. So best of both worlds.
It made me think about, like, in 30 years' time when your son's recording his podcast at the Coomera Inn and the whole wall is just you doing your podcast. One of the greats of all time.
Yeah, mate, I can't wait to be renting in Coomera again anytime soon. Mate, speaking of big milestone moments, there's about to be a newly crowned Mrs. Guarino by this time next week.
Yeah, there is. A few days. So it's very exciting. Just trying to get everything done, which has been real good fun.
You prepped, mate?
Been a fucking nightmare, but it's been good, and I've done, by my calculations, about 7% of the work, so... And that might be overs. So looking forward to having you, mate. You going to put on a show or what?
Yeah, taking up the hosting duty. So some big shoes to fill, but I reckon I'm actually going to get in a decent co-host next week, and I think it'll be pretty easy, to be honest.
Is that all locked in? Can we talk about that?
Absolutely, we can talk about it. And if he backflips on it, I'll absolutely roast him.
Yeah, so obviously you're used to having me here, but we've got the OG guru coming in next week to take my spot. I know what you're thinking, David Middleton, Eric Groth. None of the above. We've got the great Tommy Sangster, the Wish guru. It's going to be nice to have him, mate.
Yeah, the original Supercoach guru, one of the greatest men on the planet. Copped some stick as the face of Supercoach, Tommy, because he works at News Corp, but... You know, anytime there's a glitch in scoring or something, it's because Tommy's getting unicorn points and he's pushing buttons and getting things changed. Biggest load of rod ever. We had him on the Playbook podcast earlier in the year. Obviously worked with Tommy for 5 years at the telly, and just a great man and a really good footy head as well.
I've actually organised for when he comes next week for Paul Alamotti to jump out from around the corner and beat the living shit out of him for not giving his points next week. So best of luck with that, Tommy. Little one from me.
We'd be top 100 if Alamotti got those.
Tell me about it. Fucking begging for it. But yeah, we have got the great Tommy Sangster who'll be joining us in the studio. You going to give him the trophy or the style? What are you thinking?
I'll have to see what he's ranked, but mate, I don't like getting rid of the style. Even though, like, the prize on this show, you want the cup. You want the cup sitting in front of you, which I have a feeling it's about to be very shortly. But in terms of just looking good, that style, I'll tell you what.
Looks unreal. All right. Now, you did beat me this week, I believe. I'm just going to double check that, but I'm pretty confident you did. I scored 1,190, only 60 points more than what my draft 13 scored this week. So it was a nice little kick in the dick. How'd you go?
12.57. So, yeah.
Stop the fight.
Yeah, so good score there.
There you go, big dog.
Bring it back to where it belongs, thanks, mate. Yeah. You can have the style for a week.
How good in the style.
22 weeks, to be honest, but get this bad boy back where it belongs. So, yeah, it was a good week. I think we both had Ruben Garrick, so that was a bit of a balls up. Yeah, unfortunately, mate, HIAs come and go. You win some, you lose some. So that was a stinker. Joe Tapney out due to birth of child. Bit of a bugger also in terms of the Stallion Supercoach side, but got out of it pretty well. And yeah, City in 14K, so on the up.
Mate, I sat there all week going, do I play Khan Piera or Ruben Garrick? Went with Ruben Garrick. Got half the score. Poor Supercoach decision. Oh. We're all about accountability here. You got to wear it.
You do, the only thing, and it was pointing out to you on last night's, it was actually something I thought about during the game, that they were getting so dominated in that game that, mate, he might have scored another 10 points in that anyway. So, look, the price drop sucks. Missing a few points sucks, but it might not have been that much different, to be fair. Yeah,
you got to cop your medicine sometimes. We certainly did there. Now, mate, as far as our group went this week, really interesting. Out of our in the Beers and Breakevens group, which has a couple of 1,000 people in it, we've only got 2 people in the top 10. But They're the two that you want, number 1 and number 2 overall.
Yes.
How good. Now, as I said last week, the guy coming first, bit of a mysterious character. His name is just X, and he's got no name, just a dash there. So
It's Mr. X from The Simpsons for sure.
I hope so. Fuck, I hope so. And then the elite Sam, he's in second place, not behind by, actually he's behind by about 100 points. So this X Factor, this X fella, he's doing pretty well. X Factor. Benny Barber. How good.
That's great though. 1 and 2. Yes.
1 and 2, we'll take that. Now the highest scorer for this week went to Parallax Rabbits. That's Matt. He's got the green dot. That's 2 weeks in a row. We've had our number 1 for the week online, ready to go.
Yeah.
So Matt, mate, reach out to beersandbreakevens@gmail.com. Send me a screenshot of your team. Prove it to me. And then we will send it to you over the next few weeks.
Earn it.
Earn it. You got to earn it. Yeah, over the next few weeks. I'm away next week. So the week after that, we'll be sending out the last 2 or 3 weeks worth of gear. We might even get the great Tommy Sangster sign some footballs or something. That'd be lovely.
Geez, value up by about.
Yeah. Well, you've already signed them all. I didn't ask you to, but you just went ahead and did it. So
yeah, I'll just
people
give the people
appreciate
they
that.
want, mate.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so Matt, reach out, brother. Beersandbreakevens@gmail.com. Fella that sent in last week, I forget your name, which will not shock anyone. Got your email. She's on her way. So we are cruising. All right. T, are we getting into team lists?
Let's do it, mate. There's a few little quirky ones, so...
Few interesting ones. Also, guys, as always, Beers and Breakevens brought to you by the best beer in the land, the beer of Supercoach, Bloke in a Bar. Kempy has got the jerseys that are going on sale. I'm not sure when, but they're coming. They are on their way. $99. They're fucking unreal.
They're very good. We've had the sneak peek of them. Absolute belters.
I think it's one of the most underrated designs of just jerseys in general that Kempy's gone for here. Real old school. I love the ones last year, but I do think these ones have topped it.
Agreed. He's low-key man of design, isn't he, Kemp? He's got a good eye for fashion.
He's good at what he does. Yeah. Very good at what he does. All right, let's get stuck into team lists. So Thursday night, got the Dolphins v the South Sydney Rabbitohs, 7:50 from up there at Suncorp Stadium. For the Dolphins, the big fella, Raymond Stone into the front row. Rob Jennings gets a shot on the wing for South Sydney. They return a front rower as well. Big Jai Arrow. Alex Johnson out onto the sting once again. Anything else to touch on these two, mate?
Not too much there. Just having a look at Rob Jennings is 267K. So he'd come back from injury, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just one to monitor in coming weeks. And then Ray Stone, forward's coming back in time. Felice Kafusi will be back in a few weeks. I know that's on the edge rotation, but people are everyone is on the hunt for this cheapy front row forward. I've seen some desperation coming out of it, myself included on last week's show. So, yeah, I don't think probably Stone's the go.
Don't think Raymond's our guy.
Put it this way, the last 3 weeks he's averaging 51 minutes and he's scored 42, 34, 35, so just not quite there.
Yeah, pretty grim. Speaking of cheapy front row forwards, the Sharkies take on the Roosters 6 p.m. from Shark Park. This will be on during my wedding, so I think there'll be a few phones out in the crowd enjoying this one and maybe one at the groom's table. Sharkies, though, their bench making his debut, I believe. I was going to say little Tommy Hazelden. It's big Tommy Hazelden. He is a big bit of gear, an absolute monster.
He's a big bit of gear, Tommy Hazelden. I believe he's a Goulburn product. I think he got a run last year. 1 or 2 games?
Oh, he did too, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Tall unit. You know he's just going to have a few reach over, like stretch out Sean Lane style tries in his career. He goes good.
Yeah, no stranger to meat pie.
Depth.
You can come into my Supercoach team if you've got a bald head and you strap your melon around. You're straight in. So Tommy Hazelden, I think he'll be one to watch over the next few weeks for the Roosters.
Quick one, mate. Totola gone from the Bunnies. Jai Arrow back in the side. Alex Johnston back in on the wing.
If this Bunny side can just for 1 week get their entire forward pack on the field.
Oh, my God.
Like Havili still to come back as well, who's a fucking weapon.
Yeah. And they've had a rough trot.
Very rough trot.
Just 1 in, 1 out every week at least. Or should I say 3 out, 1 in.
For the Chooks, James Tedesco returns at fullback. Martin moves to the centre. Matty Lodge comes onto the bench. Speaking of teams that if they can get their full pack on the field, good God. Satilli playing for the Bears again this week. Angus playing for the Roosters New South Wales Cup, joined by Nathan Brown as well. So Brown, Satilli, Angus. Going to be pretty scary over the next few weeks.
Mate, when they get those three back in, obviously particularly the two edge back rowers, like they've been winning the majority of games this season without them, and they've had a lot of injury concerns themselves.
Yeah.
It hasn't been pretty, but they've got the job done. They'll take some beating.
Scary stuff. Okay, the late game, we got the Manly Seagulls taking on the Melbourne Storm. Battle of Brookie once again, 8 p.m. for Manly. Ruben Garrick out. Vega comes in. Cooper Johns at 6, KO Weeks to 14. But probably the big one for a lot of players out there, and we spoke about the front row forward headache last week. It just got bigger. Sean Keppie out for the great Aaron Woods. If I was Keppie, I would not be stoked. I would not be fucking stoked.
Speaking of not stoked, mate, the Spy last night when he rocked up to the studio for the Playbook podcast, and I knew it stung him because Keppie was the stopgap option with Stefano out and a few issues in the front row, and he was his second front rower this week. Can you believe Sean Keppie getting moved from the bench to 18th man could cause such Supercoach drama?
It's crazy. Yeah. I can't believe it.
So Stefano on the bye, people just wanted, and like no one expected the world of Keppie or owners. They was like, you know what, come in this week, score me 40, even 35, not ideal, but you'd take it. All of a sudden they're looking at Franklin Pelage on the bench on Moali. It's like, oh, it's grim. So big one there, and then obviously Josh Schuster's on the extended bench as well. Bloody cork. What, cork in the quad? He's got to play, doesn't he?
I don't think it's a cork. From what I've heard, it's not a cork. Yeah, I think it's worse.
Stop telling us dribble, Manly, because
it's his brother, to be fair. Little rogue unit. His brother jumps on Twitter and tells everyone.
He's a good man, loves giving us a Schuster scoop.
Yeah.
Well, he was one who said bizarre. It was a quad cork. And then all the media's just taking it.
I think so. That's my understanding. But apparently it's not a cork thing. It's worse than that. So, interesting. And Cooper Johns and KL Weeks, they're just taking 1 week in, 1 week out, the two of them. Brutal. All right, Melbourne Storm. What about this one? Geez, if you brought Cam Munster a few weeks ago, like our good mate Heavenly Hands Hevner, he brought himself Munster a couple of weeks ago. I was walking around like a fucking Cheshire cat yesterday. Nick Meaney out. Cameron Munster in at fullback. I love my soon-to-be wife, but money at fullback, that does it for me. How good.
Isn't it a sight? Like, you're just giving probably the roguish unit in the NRL a license to do whatever he wants. Yeah. Like, he's got half the license with a few restrictions every week anyway, but at fullback, it's do what you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Terrifying as a non-owner. It is only 1 week, so I wouldn't change my trade plans around him moving to fullback, but it's a 1 week play, and then Pappenhausen's due back in a few weeks anyway. So even if there was a long-term injury to Meaney, God forbid, Pappy will be back at some stage.
God, I can't wait to talk about Pappy in a few weeks' time.
Oh, he's going to be good.
Give him 3 weeks, drop that price, then it'll become very interesting.
I can't wait till we're talking about it, and there's just like 3% of Supercoaches out there saying, you just got to go early, and just go early. Just do what Nico did, and he'll come out and get 200. Be like, absolutely absurd. You have to wait. He comes out, gets 200, and it's just like deja vu, Nico.
100%.
But you know what? With Pappy, I'm like, shit, yeah, love him.
Yeah, absolutely love him. You can't not love him. Super Saturday. We've got the Warriors taking on the Cowboys, 3 p.m. from Mount Smart Stadium for the Warriors. Tomato Martin out. They've named Dill Walker at 6, Tor Pickett 13. How many weeks do you think Tohu Harris is going to be named and not play?
Yeah, frustrating for non-owners. Yeah. Like, frustrating because the 2 games that he's been in the last 2 weeks, he's been named at 13 and ruled out late. I think they've both been Sunday games or quite late in the round. So if you've still got him, I think you just hold. I mean, if you've held this long, but very frustrating.
A second shout-out's pretty special, but once again, shout-out to Heavenly Hands Hebner with Tohu Harris and his draft team, doing his fucking head in, wing out. Draft players with Tohu, my God, I feel for you. Because this could go on for another month, I reckon. God knows.
Sounds like a stressed-out man, this Heavenly Hands.
Oh, mate, he's one of the best. Yeah, he's actually coming to the wedding on Friday. His missus has got to work, so he'll be unleashed.
Draft expert, Heavenly Hands.
Draft expert. Despite never winning anything, draft expert. It's incredible.
Yeah. Playbook listeners would know him as Stevie Heaven. I looked after our draft content the last couple of years, and he's a draft expert, mate.
He's a draft expert.
Just like you're a classic expert.
That's it. Cowboys. Griffin Neem. Gonski. See you later. Thanks for coming.
Oh.
Murray Tulangi in. Jeremiah Nanai back in as well. Cows in a bit of curry at the moment, just quietly.
They are.
Yeah.
They are, yep. Wouldn't that have been just the most Daniel Alvaro moment for the Cooma Stallions. If we brought in Griffin Neame last week for 1 week to score 45 points on the edge and then have to trade him out the week after. Poor old Griffin Neame was actually going all right, the big fella.
I forgot about Alvaro Gate. How good was that?
Alvaro Gate, yeah. But yes, the Cows are in a bit of curry.
I reckon Daniel Alvaro is one of the smartest guys to ever play footy. Apparently he's a genius.
Is he really?
Apparently. Yeah.
Didn't help my Supercoach side.
Didn't help anyone's Supercoach
from round 6 to 8. What was it, 2 years ago? Oh, feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah. All right. The Panthers take on the Newcastle Knights from Newey, 5:30 for the Knights. Phoenix Crossland named at 9. Obviously, Jaden Brayley is going to miss the rest of the season. We do wish Jaden all the very best. You don't wish injuries on anyone, but he's probably the last bloke in the world I want to see get injured. Fuck, he's had a brutally tough trot for such a good fella.
Oh, yeah. Brutal trot and just seems like a lovely fella, Jaden Brayley. We've seen what he means to this club. Like, he's a very good footballer. He's not a star, but he's one of them players where when missing, we've seen it. We've seen the Knights fall apart without him. And we've seen him come back and play really good footy and turn things around. So, yeah, it's just gutted for him, mate.
Especially after letting go of Chris Randall.
Oh, they don't have a hooker.
Don't have a 9. So, Phoenix Crossland's been named there. I'll be honest with you, I thought Phoenix Crossland when he played 9 the other day, I thought his service was disgraceful for first grade. So
it's almost like he's not a hooker.
You'd almost think so.
Yeah.
But probably is their best option. We'll talk about him soon, won't we, Phoenix? But
we can touch on him now, mate.
I just think he's not going to play the minutes people are expecting. I just think Kurt Mann will have to come in there and do a bit.
The curly one is that back in round 3, he played 73 minutes as a starting 9, 49 points, 49 in base. You see that at 274k with the break even 28 and go, oh, Kurt Mann didn't play that game. So I just think they're going to share the role, aren't they?
I think so, and I think there's a really good chance that the Newcastle Knights go into the market and try and maybe get a loan deal. I
agree, but if you were to, say, go on someone like Phoenix Crossland, not someone like, it'd be Phoenix Crossland, they'd have to do it very soon, because he can make his price rise in the meantime, but they could come out next week and have someone sorted. So, yes.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you don't have to do it this week, I think the issue is a lot of people looking to flip someone like Reid Marnie or Wade Egan to free up cash for Cleary or Hines. I know I certainly am. Via his dual 5'8" halfback, but people have got Tanner Boyd in there. There's a few things that can switch around. They need to do it this week, but if you can have a look at him this week and he comes out and plays big minutes with Kurt Mann, you're like, cool, but yeah, it's a few red flags.
What is Phoenix halfback 5'8", is he?
Yep.
Tough one. Very, very tough one there. All right, for the Penrith Panthers, nothing to really touch on here. Liam Martin and Luke Garner on the extended bench. Neither has been named in New South Wales Cup. My mail is, though, that Hosking has that edge locked down. That's his.
Oh, you'd have to, mate. Been on fire, played terrific footy. Yep. I think the only risk, which is very possible, is that, like, Liam Martin, when he comes back in, he'll be an 80-minute man. Like, coming back from the hammy injury, they might ease him a little bit, but the plan will be to obviously get him back to 80, you'd imagine. Garner or Jamin Salmon potentially take a bit of time off Hosking.
I reckon that they will play Liam Martin on the left, and I don't think he will be an 80-minute guy.
Yeah,
I just think coming off a World Cup, he's got an Origin series coming up.
True.
We saw at the back end of last year he wasn't playing 80 minutes, but then they got to the finals and he went bang to 80 minutes. I just think they'll want to take care of him a little bit. So my understanding is that Hosking is going to be an 80-minute dude on the right. Liam Martin will play left, and I'm sure there will be weeks where he'll play 80, but I think he's more likely to get a spell just to preserve him.
Yeah, no, that's good, mate. It's one of the very rare blue moon occasions where you've got me convinced. And
Thank you.
I think you're right, mate.
Yeah, one of my great porkies of all time there. 7:35 Saturday night, we've got the Titans taking on the Broncos from the Gold Coast. Toby Sexton, good God, he's been fucking unlucky, hasn't he?
What happened to him?
I don't know. I think Foz is just back, so he's in.
They've got
he's not in the squad at all, is he?
No, the other half's in there, the young fella. Aussie schoolboy.
Yeah, Weaver.
Yeah. So he has to have got injured.
Yeah, I think he's got in. I think he's hurt his hand.
Yeah, right.
Looks of it.
Yeah.
Got someone signing to me down here. Whatever this means. Yeah, so Foz in, Sexton out. That's anything else overly relevant?
It's good news for
time?
Dave Fafita and Khan Pereira.
Don't say that name to me, but yes. Don't want to hear it.
Yeah, Khan Pereira break even at 5. So look, unless it can impact my trades, we'll get to them later. But I think I'll be holding for one more week with the break even at 5, and it's great news for Fafita.
Yeah, I said to a mate the other day, because in my draft comp I had a really big score this week. I actually broke the record in my comp, so I was carrying it like a fucking treat, and I was missing 3 of my top 6 draft picks, right? And then I realised I was actually missing 4 of my 8 if you include Khan Pereira, who I dropped in week 2. I drafted at pick 8. So, and everyone went, "You can't say that. That doesn't fucking count. That's bullshit." Yeah.
Can and will.
Had to wear that one. Broncos, Flegler, he's out of this one. Outside of that, and that doesn't really impact anyone.
Not a lot there,
that
mate.
much. So Brisbane, not much doing. Sunday afternoon footy. We have got the Raiders taking on the Dragons. For the Raiders, Nick Kotrick, Tapane, and Jack Whiten back in. Corey Horsburgh's in the 13. Love to see that. I thought with 72 minutes, Corey would have scored a bit more last week, but he was sort of playing a bit more of that link man sort of role. And I think from memory, he didn't have any offloads either.
No offloads, yeah. He was playing as the link man. He had 12 or 13 receipts there. 56 points in 71 minutes.
It's not bad, but...
No, certainly not bad, yeah. Obviously, the question now will be with Taps back in, what sort of minutes does he play? Yeah. Look, if he locks in a big minute lock roll, he'll be a huge option. He's dual to our front row forward, but there's just a lot of quality middles in that side, so I don't know that he'll sustain those minutes. I'd be surprised if he did.
It's just hard to tell with Ricky Stewart as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What he's going to do. Okay, for the St. George Illawarra Dragons, Ravalawa drops out. Tautau Moga comes back in. Anything else Dragons-wise?
Negative.
We're still waiting for Jack DeBellin to get back into the starting team. It's got to come sooner rather than later, you'd have to think.
Tyrell Sloan scored well on the weekend.
Really happy for him. Parramatta Eels, Junior Borlo comes back into the side. Winnamoo Greg, who's been pretty good for the last month or so, drops back. Hopgood. We're in a tough spot, aren't we?
We'll
talk about him soon, but he's an interesting one.
Yeah.
He's not doing bad enough for me to have a tantrum, but he's not doing good enough for me to stay with him. So it's a very toxic relationship at the moment.
Yeah.
And geez, we started off well. Me and Hopgood.
I'm a believer.
You're a believer?
I know you're a believer.
Yeah. I'm believing less and less. There's another 13 at Parramatta that's caught my attention.
Yeah, right.
We'll get to that soon. Not that I can fucking afford him, but anyway. For the Canterbury Bulldogs, their 17 comes back this week. Burns, TBJ, Kickout, RFM, and Jaden Ockenbaugh returns as well, one of the great back rowers of all time. Canterbury starting to resemble a little bit more what Canterbury should be looking like, which is exciting.
They are, mate, and how good to see that the forwards come back. The cattle has returned, or at least a few of them, so a much sort of stronger side this week to what we've seen in certainly last weekend. It was a bugger not to see Terrell Skelton get named in Fox's spot, wasn't it? Oh, would have been so handy this week.
But he's been doing some impressive things down there in Carl.
I know, and he's not in the squad at all, is he?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's there at all. Oh, God, that would have been handy.
Would have been very handy.
Anyway.
Do you reckon Canterbury would have had a video session this week, or do you think they would have just gone, nah, fuck it, let's just leave Good Friday in the past?
Yeah, they would have Black Friday and just gone,
hard pass.
Boys, you should never make excuses at this level, but we're making them. Put a line through it. Move on.
Let's move on. All right, team list, mate. Anything else to add there? Anything that I missed? Anything you want to chuck in there?
Mate, I think you've covered it well.
All right, your deep dive this week. What do you got for us?
Just wanted to talk about the vice-captaincy loophole, because we often get a little bit too caught up in the gun Supercoach players, the really dedicated ones. I know there's a lot of listeners out there who aren't as religious around it as we are. They still love the game, but not as full on. So I want to touch on what it is, how to use it, and then for Supercoaches who sit there and go, oh, I know what this is, I've used it before, what score is required, and what I look for in my vice-captaincy when they go well to consider doing it. Vice-captaincy loophole. Essentially, it's giving you 2 cracks via a loophole in the system in the game to get a captain right. Now, how it works is your vice-captain, you put it on, it has to play before your captain each week, obviously. What it's designed to do is that if then your captain gets injured or doesn't play the game, it gets ruled out later in the week, you get your vice captain score. So where the loophole comes in is that you pick someone early on in the round. Let's say this week you might use Tom Trbojevic. And if he goes really big and scores well and scores 180, what you do then is Nathan Cleary would be a popular pick later on in the round. You would take the captaincy off him, and then you would have to drop a player from your team. So this week it might be someone like if you've got Isaiah Katoa at 5'8" and Adam Doueihi. Adam Doueihi's on the bye. You'd have to drop Isaiah Katoa out of your team and bring Adam Doueihi in. Now, Doueihi would score you 0, which would initiate that captaincy loophole where your vice captain gets the double score. You have to put the captaincy on the non-player, being Adam Doueihi, who's in your starting 17. Now, this is where the risk comes in. Because you're dropping a player, not only do you not get their score, but you get your auto-emergency score. Now, where this differs a little bit to AFL and Big Bash Supercoach, your auto-emergency is the lowest scorer on your entire bench, not just from that position. So if you drop a player from the front row and then you have a CT dub on your extended bench who scores 7, you're getting that 7. That's where the risk comes in. Now, as an example, a couple of weeks back, I had the VC on Nathan Cleary. He scored 124 points, and I know a lot of people were looping that. I thought about it, crunched a few numbers, and went, nah, Tommy Turbo had a nice matchup against the Knights. I said, I think I can get out of this better. Turbo ended up getting 106. I can't remember who I would have had to have dropped, but they went okay. I came out well in front by sticking with Tommy Turbo as my skipper, despite scoring 20-odd points less than Nathan Cleary. So there's a vice captain loophole calculator on the SC Playbook website in the menu, which is golden. I use it every time my vice captain goes all right, which gives you a guide on how to do it each week and whether or not it's worthwhile looping. Now, to get into it a little bit more, what scores would I take for my vice captain to initiate that loophole? Essentially, there's 2 circumstances around it. One is, let's say your vice captain goes off and goes really well. If it's a tough week for your captain, for skippers in general, or if the other skippers available have great matchups. This week, for example, my vice captain will probably be on Tom Trbojevic and my captain, Nathan Cleary. Now, I really like that matchup for Nathan Cleary against the Leaky Knights defence. So because I like that matchup, Tommy Turbo, I would want him to go probably at a minimum 140 points. I'd probably be more inclined to want him to go 150, but at 140, I'd really consider doing that loophole. Let's say Nathan Cleary was taking on, a top-tier side, the Cronulla Sharks, the Melbourne Storm, whatever it might be. I would reconsider, and there were no other better options than that. To go, you know what, my skipper could get 50 or 60 points. In which case, I might look at taking 120 or 130 points from Tom Trbojevic, which is a loophole. So it is very circumstantial. You then have to weigh up, all right, who's the player that I'm dropping? If you're playing, if your worst player in your side that you're dropping is someone like Valentine Holmes, a gun starting 17 player, then you're like, well, that person could get 100 themselves. If it's someone like Isaiah Katoa, you go, you know what? They could be my auto-emergency anyway. They might not score many more than my auto-emergency. So you should always work on your auto-emergency being around about 10 to 20 points because things happen, especially this early on in the season. We've got a lot of cheapies there who can score poorly. So, mate, hopefully that was clear and made sense. And if it didn't, hit me up. But that's sort of my thoughts around the vice-captaincy loophole.
Yeah, and I thought you covered it really well. The only thing I would add is that, I think we've spoken over the last few weeks that, I think we've both used our vice-captain loophole a handful of times over the last few years. But this year, when we get to those round 13s, those bye weeks, take round 13, for example, Penrith, Roosters, Sharks, Melbourne all have the bye. So there goes a lot of your top-shelf captain. It's an Origin week. Turbo probably won't play. So a week like that is a cracker where your VC, or like someone early in the week, your VC would be an absolute get-on there. And I would sort of be willing to take a much lower score that week than what I probably normally would, which is probably where it becomes more important.
Spot on, mate. Those major bye weeks where half the competition are on the bye, because we only get our top 13 scoring players those weeks anyway, and realistically, because half the competition are on the bye, people will be lucky to have 13 anyway, we get a free crack at it.
Yeah.
So, like, if someone scores 90 and then the other matchup isn't great, you might go, sweet, I'll double that 90 for sure. And we'll chat more about that come those major bye weeks, but they are when it really comes into effect.
I think the last thing I would mention is that obviously you need to plan out if you are going to VC someone, you need to make sure that you've structured the rest of your team that allows you to do it. So, for example, like you obviously can't captain someone that's on your reserve. So it might mean that you take a better player out of your starting team and reserve them, so that you are able to bring in someone like that. I've seen that happen to a number of people, especially in draft comps. They get to the end of the week, go VC, and then they go, fuck, I can't do it. It can't be done. So you need to be aware of all those things.
You might have 24 active players in your team that week and only one player is not playing. So you'd only have one opportunity to do that. Now, let's say that player is playing game 2 of the week and then your vice-captain goes nuts in game 3. You don't have anyone to bring in to initiate that loophole. So you're right, mate. That's where you do have to do a little bit of homework before the round starts and go, all right, if I'm going player in X game, if they go nuts, do I have an option to bring in to initiate the loophole? It sounds confusing. It's really not once you get your head around it. So I said, hopefully that was clear enough, but it is a pretty simple concept. And while we don't use it very often, it is important to get your head around.
Yeah, well, you don't use it often, but when you do have the opportunity, very, very important. The only other later a question I'd add to you, you said that about 140 is your mark that you would potentially VC at?
Yeah, generally speaking, I wouldn't be looking to go much lower than that.
Let me ask you, if it was 140 and you're considering it, if you had to make an extra trade to do it, does that sway your decision at all?
There are weeks where like that example, where it might happen, you go, shit, I don't have a player to bring in, but I can make it happen, especially with the buys now.
Yeah.
You can bring in a good player on the buy and not hurt you too much. To use an extra trade to initiate the loophole, you'd really want them to be more like 170, 180.
Yeah, 180 around that mark. Yeah. Yeah. It will come in handy one day, even if you are a keen Supercoach player that maybe you've never fucking used it, you know how it works. It's just worth a little reminder.
Yeah, and utilise it. People ask every time, what's the magic number? What do you loop at? It comes down to, are you a conservative Supercoach player? Do you take the risk and go for the upside? Generally speaking, I think I'm a pretty conservative player. When it comes to captains, I've just been burned a couple of times in the past by taking the loop, and then the captain you would have picked with a great matchup goes bonkers, and you're like, I just cost myself 150 points. Yep. The way it's worked out. So I tend to avoid it when possible, and I need a really good score. But like anything, mate, there's no right or wrong answer, because you could not take it, then your captain that you go with comes out and gets a HA 2-minute in. Yeah,
for sure. All right, mate, 5'8" this week. Good God. Tough little gig. A lot of us have Isaiah Katoa, Joshy Schuster, a lot of us have, who's still not playing. He's on the extended this week, but I believe he's not going to play, and I reckon we might not see him for a few more weeks. So Josh Schuster's done exactly what Josh Schuster was probably always going to do to us, unfortunately. I think he's just going to be one of these guys, isn't he? It's just always something.
Always something.
He's incredibly talented, there's no doubt in that, but there's just,
Yeah, me too.
There's just always something.
Yeah, Joshy Schuster's brother. I love the man, but if it's not a quad, that's one of the great stitch-ups, because I brought him in off the back of that news. Yep. But, always something isn't there.
So, as it stands right now, I've got Katoa, I've got Schuster. Are you in the same boat? You got those two or not?
I've got Dewey there.
Dewey. Oh, good God. Yeah, so you're going to make a trade this way?
Yeah, so there's obviously Garrick, Dewey, Taps pulling out on me last week. I will potentially...
Yeah, I thought when we were coming down the hall and you said Joe Tapano is the most selfish bastard of all time, I thought that was a bit over the top. But
I would never do a Raider. Any other team in competition, absolutely. Yeah, so we get to trade shortly, but I have to boost this week in order to get Nico. Mm-hmm. And... so I'm still working out my third trade as my third cash grab. I'm working out the best option there. But there's a chance that I hold Adam Dewey just for another week, just because he's not causing me any dramas. He bounced back last week, back to 5'8", looked good, was on 66 odd with 10 minutes to go. And then speaking of ACLs, poor bugger. I was so happy to hold Dewey, I'll be honest. But anyway, that's done and dusted. So, 5'8".
Yeah, so obviously you got your Cody Walkers, you got your Cam Munsters, you got your Dill Browns. I'll be honest with you guys, very busy week. I haven't actually sat down to have a good look at my 5'8" yet, so I'll, like you guys, I'm going to be guided pretty heavily by the big T-Rex over here.
Mate,
see if you can sway me.
That public holiday,
That's rattled me.
It's just rattled NRL content creators. Like Bloke in the Bar podcast we did yesterday, that was straight into SC Playbook, straight into this morning. So the opportunity for study minimal, but 5'8", the big question is that, mate. Everyone's looking at moving on, say, Dewey, or they've got a bit of cash, and they're looking at which gun 5'8" do I run with. And everyone's saying Brown v Munster v Cody. Cody's, I think, the second or third most traded in this week, and Munster's about fourth. So people are leaning that way. I am leaning towards probably Dylan Brown as an overall player because he covers the 3 major Origin bye weeks. He's also at 672K. He's got a very large break even. I think it's about 130. I'll double check that. But big break even. Like, he will be so valuable for that bye period. You probably don't have to get him now. You can wait until round 13 for the first major bye week and wait for him there. But Munster is already at top dollar. Munster's 820K, break even 69. Decent matchup this week, but they've got the bye in round 9. One to be aware of, like particularly at hooker, if you've got Harry Grant and say a dud hooker or Christian Welch at front row, a few of these sort of things. So keep an eye on that one. But look, I love the Mad Dog. I wish he was in my team, but the bye coming up, he'll be full on over the Origin period. He'll be rested for games that I'm sure at some point, on top of the ones you'll already miss. So I'm just looking at full output for that. Don't love it. Cody Walker, the Bunnies draw gets...
They play the Dolphins this week, but then they play the 2 best defensive sides in the competition so far, Penrith into Brisbane.
Last 3 weeks, 3-round average of 96. Before that was a 3-round average of about 38. I just think the time to get on Cody was a week or two ago, and congratulations to anyone that did, but I think probably the value's gone from there. He will make a bit more coin. He's got a break of 0, I get that, but yeah, I'm not so convinced.
My other worry with Cody is that game last week might have just been waking the sleeping giant in Latrell.
Yes, and that's what we saw last year, didn't we?
Yep.
That even the back end last year, even when the Bunnies went on a tear, Cody scored all right, but it was just the Latrell show every single week.
Yeah, and after Penrith and Brisbane, they play Melbourne as well. So, pretty tough gig.
Yeah, so look, that just leads me towards Dylan Brown, who, with a really tough draw to start the season, D-Bags went really well. Started with 32 against Melbourne, then turned up against the Sharks, 88 against Manly, and then he went Penrith and Roosters, 50-odd against those two, and then the 63 against the Tigers. But the draw's good from now on. Doggies, Broncos, Knights, Titans, Raiders, like it looks all right. He's coming down in price, so he's the value play. He averaged 74 last year. I'm leaning towards Dillbags.
Yeah, I haven't had a good look at it yet, but I like Dill solely for those buys and everything. He's in a good side. He's getting Sean Lane back as well. They know how to score points, Parramatta. So I'm leaning towards Dill as well. I completely agree with what you said on Cody Walker. I think 2 weeks ago was the play. I think you're chasing points. If you go on Cody now, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong there, but I think that was the play. And I just think Munster, I mean, fuck, if you've managed to get Cleary and Hines and you can somehow afford Munster, credit to you. But I'm not sitting in that boat. You've got to trade Hines in this week too, don't you?
I have to get Hines. So, like 5'8", I'll be looking to get D-Bags in the next week or two. But hopefully next week when he bottoms out a bit more. But as I said, exhausting a lot of cash to make Nico happen this week.
What were the odds of Nico Hines at 902K after 2 games to have a break-even of 0, by the way?
Oh,
fucking freak.
If you asked any rational Supercoach mind, probably about $1.01, but...
Unbelievable.
And then... You know, if you wanted maybe a bit of a flyer, Matty Burns at 570K. He's averaging 50. Doggies, Parramatta this week, I don't know. We know he's got it in him, but just week to week, there's a few strike weapons in that side, a few injuries still. One that I will throw out here, well, speaking of curly ones, people desperate to free up cash for Cleary or Nico, and there's a lot of people out there, mate.
Yep.
Cody Nikorima. Now, I know he's certainly not the ideal buy. Probably won't be coming into my team, but you can make a case for him. So he's 265K. He's dual 5'8" hooker. Break even 66, so certainly one you'd like to wait on this week. But his numbers from the past are okay. You know, we know he's not a big base stat sort of player, but we know he's got plenty of attack in him. averaged 30 points per game in 2 games for the Warriors in the halves. That was at the start of last year. I think they were 80-minute games. The year before that, played 3 games at fullback, 80-minute games, averaged 46 in those. The 2 years prior, the ones that excite me a little bit more, averaged in 2021, he averaged 71 minutes per game for 54 points. And the year before that, 2020, he averaged 70 minutes per game for 52 points. So pretty decent numbers there. If he's playing 80 minutes, you know, he wouldn't have to do anything spectacular. You wouldn't necessarily have to play him when you're 17. Just one that just let throw it at you.
No, I can't do it. I'm happy to be proven wrong by Wayne Bennett for the fucking millionth time. Nicarima will be an immortal in 3 weeks at this rate. But no, I not for me.
Probably not for me either, mate, but I thought it was worth flagging.
So who is for me? And it would be a huge gamble, but in 2 weeks' time, one Kalen Ponga returns at 5'8". You might want to wait a week or so. He's obviously got that 1 in his rolling average. So you get KP pretty fucking cheap in a few weeks' time. He's already at 5.30. He could drop to, low 4s there. Especially if he has a quiet game and he returns. They might bring him off the bench or something. I don't know. Like, it's just, I reckon there is potential there for KP. And if he doesn't, they play the Panthers this week, so he won't be back. The only thing is, though, that he doesn't play the Panthers. I don't think he plays the Cowboys. Or he might play against the Cowboys. I reckon that Parramatta game round 9 is looking juicy. He's got the bye round 10, and then we go into the Origin period. That's the only worry with KP is that
interesting, yeah.
You might not see him all that. You might not see him all that much if he's fully fit and available. You probably won't see him all that much,
especially as long as the Knights are going all right, because they're playing some good footy at the moment.
Yeah, they've
got numerous. I thought Crossland was good on the weekend in the halves. Defence really good. Tyson Gamble's back in this week into the halves. He's been solid. So like, they don't need to. If they were going terribly, they're sitting in the top 8, aren't they? They're 8th or something.
They're 8th. Yeah.
They're 8th. If they're going terribly, they're like, we need him back and we need to win games. But they probably don't need to rush as much. But yeah, it's like I went against him early on in the season because I didn't want to take on the concussion risk. He stung me last year. That was at 530k. It's a bit of a different story. If he gets down to like early 400Ks with that break even, which, as I said, there's every chance that he does. So to pick him up at that price, even if then he does get in, just like, well, I moved on Isaiah Katoa to him or something. So, yeah, worth keeping in your plans.
What about, and I know that he's a bit of a pod player, I'm not seeing any options that are standing out to me outside of Munster I can't afford, and Dill, who I'm more than happy to have for the buys, but I'm not stoked to have Dill Brown in my side. What about like a punt on like a Luke Keary or someone with the Roosters getting all of their troops back? It's definitely not for me, but...
Oh, mate, you talk about blokes where there's something always happens to them. I have been so agonising close to buying him the last 5 years of Supercoach at a different stage, because when the Roosters click, he can rack up points, he can score big, but can just find an injury, lots of head knocks. He's always one bad head knock, not even a bad, he's always one head knock away from missing a stretch of games. So definitely flyer potential, but probably not for me.
Tell you what I'm very close to doing, getting out the bat signal. Luke Metcalf. Come and save us, my friend. Please come and save us.
How far is he?
He's over in the States at the moment, I believe, getting it all sorted. So when Metcalf does come back...
He could have slid straight in at 5'8", couldn't he?
Yeah. Tomato Martin's out now.
Yeah.
You've obviously
for
got Dill Walker.
Long term.
Yeah. 6 to 8 weeks.
Didn't pick Volkman?
He hooked Volkman the week before.
Bloody hell.
Ron's been killing it in Cup 2. Yeah. I'm his biggest fan in the world, but he wasn't overly impressive in that game of first grade, to be fair. But yeah, I would say that Volkman has fallen down the pecking order.
Jeez.
What about Dill Walker, mate? Obviously, what is he now? What is he, CTW?
Mate, I haven't even looked at him.
I think there's a question about him later as we get to him, but he's CTW/2RF, playing 5'8" on that left edge. We know that he'll take a heap of runs. He'll get through a bit of work. Warriors doing well.
Loves a run. You're touching him.
430k. We'll talk about him soon.
Price,
He's an awkward price, but these are the depths we're going into at the moment. He's looking pretty grim. Mate, 5'8", are we Done and dusted there. Pull the curtains on it.
Yeah, all sorted, mate.
All right. Sit v starts for this week. I don't have a stack of decisions that I need to make. I'll be bringing big Davey Mawali into the side for Stefano. This is all pre-trades. I'm not quite sure what it's all going to look like. Mate, one that's caught my attention, well, it's caught my attention for quite some time, but I don't mind if you're looking for a little pod play on your bench. Sonny Luke against the Newcastle Knights this week. I reckon he could come on and put some points on.
Yeah.
Stacks up points very quickly.
If you've got a 17th man there that's not like, you could easily punch at 30 or 40, then yeah, why not? There's upside.
There's upside in it for sure.
Do you not have a tough CTW decision with Garrick? I do.
Well, I've got Kiraz, Marsu, Val Holmes. I've got my last spot between Canberra, Warbrick and Taruva. Taruva, I'm confident the Penrith Panthers put on a bit of a show there, so I'll be going Taruva.
Yeah, easy.
So not a huge one for me. What's your dilemma at CTW?
I've got Val, To'o, Taruva starting, Garrick out. So I've got Alamotti, Canberra and Warbrick, all who don't have great games. Now, one of these three could go for me to free up cash. That there's a decent likelihood they do, but who that'd be for, like, I'm not sure. Potentially, I'm not super confident on him, but half eyeing Hayes Dunster, just playing in it. Well, he's like 230k. He's got 7 on the weekend. I
was going to say, yeah,
but good draw, and just if he doesn't play, I don't really care. But potential extra number through the bye period. There's not a lot of great cheapies at the moment.
I reckon there's a good. I'm not confident he holds his spot long term.
Neither am I.
I'm also not confident he plays during those buys at all.
Yeah.
I reckon it's a matter of time until an Assy comes into this side somewhere. I think Hayes Dunster will be the first one to fall off the second order.
So also not one I was keen to do, but just throwing it out there. But yeah, so Alamotti, Canberra. Alamotti has got the Eels. Canberra has got the Broncos. Warbrick has got the Seagulls. Tough games.
Very, very tough. Bro, Warbrick, he just doesn't get any ball out there. It's frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
Between Hughesy and Remus Smith, I just don't see the ball getting to him.
Tempted to find whoever I can get to make it happen, someone cheap, just for it with a better play this week. But you got to think long term, not short term. But maybe Canberra with Fosback
against Brisbane.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Who would you play?
Oh, I've got better CTW, so I don't have to fucking worry about it.
Help me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going Canberra personally.
There's also not a chance I'm selling Garrick. The good thing with Garrick is that this is very glass half full thinking, but he misses a game against the Storm, which probably be a tough one anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we wish he was playing, to get me wrong, but break even 130. The following week, comes back fresh for the Tigers clash. People will see the break even, probably won't jump on him. That's mouth-watering.
Yeah, love that. Yeah.
So, mate, look, Alamotti's probably the safe bet. 11 on the weekend. Anyway, decisions. So they're one for me. As it stands, I said that the third trade that I use will impact this big time, but I'll probably have to play Isaiah Katoa as well, which I don't feel great about. And then I'm sitting Sonny Luke, Uta Kamanu, obviously on the bye. Pele's there. Schuster sitting. Yeah, so there are 2 weak links in my side this week. It will be my 4th CT dub at this stage and Isaiah Katoa. So I don't feel great about it, but again, I'm not going to tear my side apart for the sake of playing someone for a 30-pointer.
I also think a lot of people will be in a very similar boat.
Yeah.
Very, very similar boat. And I think your biggest priority this week just has to be get Nico.
People have said, like, do you tear your side apart for Nico, this, that? I'm like, I am.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting through that game and not owning him again.
100%. As fun as that was, I really enjoyed that. All right. Questions. We'll go through these. First one comes from Chazard98. He asked the question that many people did that me personally, I refuse to answer it, so I'm going to throw it to you. TPJ, do we do it?
I was about to say, mate, I'd love to get your thoughts on this one first. No. I mean, first he's come back from a calf injury, so probably plays limited minutes, and let's just see how he comes back. Like, you think he's come out and said that he's an out-and-out front rower these days, he's an impact player, even if it's starting or having spells, but I don't think he's going to play big minutes. With a few injuries to the pack, maybe, injury risk, suspension risk. lunatic. We know his upside, and that's what lures us in, but just no.
Couple of sunny days doesn't make a summer. That's TPJ for me. No, thank you. Pat Mano, any cheapie 2RFs? Anything we're looking at here? I wouldn't mind finding a cheapie 2RF, to be honest with you. Free up a bit of coin for me, but this is where I think having a 2RF CTW enough might come in handy at the moment, but I don't want you to jump over the table and beat the living shit out of me again.
No. Enough ain't the option, mate. But let's have a look. There's one that I've tinkered with, the idea briefly, and again, this shows the depths of it at the moment, but...
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
I don't think you do.
Okay, good.
It's one of your boys, that's why I say that. Tommy Eisenhuth.
Okay, right.
279k, dual CTW 2RF. We know the bellyache loves him. 2 games back from injury. 35 minutes against the Bunnies for 50 points, 39 base. 29 minutes against the Roosters, 36 points, 34 base. We know he's versatile, so any injuries he can get some bigger minutes. Any injuries to the edge back row could come in and be a big minute edge back rower. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I actually don't mind that. I will actually seriously fucking consider that because I really want to fucking jewel in my team to be able to move some of this money around because I've pretty much got my CTWs set now. I'm very happy with my CTWs.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing is that I've got all these cheapies sitting on the bench that I can't really move them at the moment. So I will actually... What price is he at?
279.
Ugh, yeah, okay. Talk to me. I'm very interested in that. That might be a Bryce for Tommy Eisenhuth.
Yeah, so
this week for me.
That the other one, he's obviously not in there. Braden Williami, I think he's back from injury, isn't he? You wouldn't get him because he's injured, but keep an eye out for him. Otherwise, there's not a lot there. Josh Hughes, if they don't own him, he's got to come back at some point, you'd think.
You'd hope, wouldn't you? Am I heaps confident? No.
You'd be optimistic that he would. Yeah. Toby Couch went well on the weekend. Yeah, no, I think probably maybe Eisenhuth's the safest bet.
Okay. Our next question from Mike Cull 92, and this one's a little bit of a rogue one, but obviously the punters and dribblers group with the Hello Sport Boys, it's been on a tear the last few weeks with a few memes and whatnot, and one of the great fellas in there, Scotty Bellotti. I've been saying for a long time this guy needs a baggy green, and I thought the Barbie performance the other day, I thought that has just about sealed him. So should Scotty have a baggy green by the other mob? Not Supercoach related, but important nonetheless. Fucking oath, it's important nonetheless. I don't know how strongly you feel on the topic, mate, but I feel like Scotty has well and truly earned his baggy green.
I have seen, probably heard more a bit about Scotty Boy's work of late, and I saw him throw together a starting footy side of basically Hello Sport, bloke in a bar, and everyone associated with the mixed. And I noted that he threw me at hooker, which suggests, I don't know what it thinks, but in my head it means that he thinks I'm pretty tough, and I love the hard yards. And look,
I assumed you just looked at your head and assumed you'd spend a bit of time in the hooker.
Could be that. Yeah. Could be that. Look, I've never played hooker in my life, but I love the bloke for throwing me there and the fact that he thought I could slot in at hooker. So off the back of that, get the man a baggy.
Tommy Eduardo, get the boy a baggy green. It's well overdue. Next one, more Supercoach related. Sam O'Shaughnessy, Will Warbrick, Sel Warbrick and Khan Piera. Is it time for these fellas to hit the frog and toad?
Yeah, look, Warbrick's break-even 48. Unfortunately, he had that stinker on the weekend, 16 points, which stunted a heap of cash growth. But it's what cheapies do. They have their big ones. Look, he's made 190k, 390k. You can cash him in or move him up for a decent price. I think time to go. Break-even 48, so no harm in waiting one more week if you need to. You know, if he does come out and jag a couple of tries, he could initiate another few rounds of price growth.
Which, to his credit, he got pretty close to the other day.
Yeah.
Very close to.
Khan Pereira, break-even 5. So, look, we saw this exact situation with Khan Pereira only a few weeks back, and people mass sold him before he'd hardly made $1. Came out and went 65 and then 117. In that time, he made 200k.
Sorry, I was saying then Khan Pereira got close on the weekend. Almost crossed twice there, but didn't get it done.
So break-even of 5, I just think it's worth waiting on Khan Pereira. Look, I think most of us will be running Alamotti, Warbrick and Khan Pereira, or say even 2 of the 3. And if you are, because Khan Pereira is the more value, if you need to move him to make your Nico or Cleary or whatever happen, I understand it.
Yep.
But with the break-even 5, I'll be doing my best to hold him for one more week.
Yep. Fair shout. Next one comes from Mac Daddy Pimp. Not here to fuck spiders. Hey, Gary, love your work. Is Toto a must-have? Cheers, the pimp. I'm not a Brian Toto owner. You are. You would have been stoked on the weekend. I was really happy for you as well. Is Toto a must-have?
On the potty last night, we did a breakdown of CTW's power rankings because it's turned into a great position. There are genuinely, I think we rattled off about 8 or 9 names that could be, that you could argue would be top 4 CTW's by end of season. So we did our rankings of them. I think I had Toto at 5. Largely just, there's so many strike weapons at the Panthers. I love him this week up against Marju.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That being said, he's going to get picked for Origin. So he'll be missing weeks around there. Penrith are unreal. So I think he's probably also going to get rested around Origin period. So he's not a must-have. He's a good buy, but he's not a must-have.
Yeah, it's getting hard to watch him without having him, but I agree with you. I don't think he's quite a must-have, but fuck, he'd be handy to have. If you've got him, I wouldn't be selling him.
Mate, Ruben Garrick, Jacob Kiraz, Lockie Miller, Greg Marju, Brian Toto, Valentine Holmes.
Who are your 4 from last night? For those that haven't, make sure you go and watch Supercoach.
No, they can go and
Playbook.
listen, mate. Stuff them.
Good. But I didn't want to know, so that's good. Okay. Our next question comes from just about everyone. Are we selling Hopgood? We held on to him last week to see what it looked like. Honestly, it would have been great if he got 70, but I think I would have rathered him get 25 than get 48 or 50 or whatever it is, because answers no questions whatsoever for me. I know it's weird. I sort of thought I'll be the biased one here and I'll probably want to hold him, but I think you're a little bit stronger in the hold camp. Big Jaman.
Yeah. I just rate him so much. Not only do I rate him, I rate his Supercoach ability.
Yep.
He offloads, he has a huge work rate, and he has attacking stats in him. So, look, I'm certainly not against the sell, that's for sure. And look, my team has, I need to get Nico Hines in. I've got Adam Dewey sitting there. I have other things I need to tend to at the moment. But I just can't stop looking, mate, at the Origin period. And as I said, I focus long term. We know that. I play the long game. But to have him there, probably you'd imagine playing big minutes, Junior Borlo out over the Origin period, plus potential restings around that. He's going to need to play a big role for him in big minutes. If in the meantime he's punching out 50s for me, it's not going to hurt me. Solid scores. I'm pretty happy playing him each week still. Played 52 minutes on the weekend. Good indication. I mean, we wanted more, but not the worst. He'll up his output in that time. Like he based 44 in 52 minutes. So he'll up his output while he's on because of that. So I just, he's probably one injury away from going back to big minutes. He's not a problem for me.
Yeah, I think I will hold him. I think I'll probably sell Bryce Cartwright this week. I think that'll probably be my move. Maybe Cartwright down to Eisenhuth now for a bit of coin. Yeah. So I think I will hold Hopgood for now. I'll be selling
Cardio from it. Cardi's done a great job and good pickup, mate, by the way.
Thank you.
But I'm holding Hopgood over it. Would hold him over Cardi every day of the week.
Yeah. Next question from Darcy Goldman, 16. And I've obviously got Campbell Graham in my draft team, so this one caught my attention. Is Campbell Graham a trade-in? And I was watching him the other night going, oh, my God, I can't believe I've sat here and watched him for draft for the last month and just been absolutely sprogging myself. And then I watched him absolutely put on a show against the Bulldogs. And I think, why didn't I trade this guy in? Then, similar to Cody Walker, check the draw. I think if you had Campbell, well done to you. Full credit to you. But I'm not convinced right now is the time.
Yeah.
Probably play Origin. Well, I think you'll play Origin as well.
Yeah, we had a good chat in the bloke potty about it. And we said we've probably got him on the wing for Origin now that Fox is out. Look, he scored 3 tries playing on the wing late in that game when I moved for Isaac Thompson. It was 3 tries in about 7 minutes or 10 minutes or something, wasn't it? So he won't get that every day of the week. You mentioned the draw before. It gets really tough after the Dolphins. Dolphins, they've been resilient this year and a good side. So, yeah, I think he's up to 714K now. Like, it cost you an arm and a leg. So, has two scores of 34 and 41 this season. He's a fine buy, but I just think with C-Dub so stacked, not for me.
Yeah, if that wasn't the draw, I would happily have the conversation. Yeah. But you know, if you're paying $700K for a CTW, you don't want 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
You want 80s, 90s, around that mark.
Sure.
So I probably wouldn't be going Campbell right now. But if we're sitting here over the next 3 weeks going, well, should have gone Campbell, I won't be shocked at all.
That's why CTW's such a great position at the moment.
Yeah.
With all these options, it's going to be tough watching the blokes you don't own because they can all go so big.
Yeah.
It's a rare year where once teams do start to stack up, maybe 2 of our bench players are CT dubs. You never would have done that in the past. We normally have a 5th gun CT dub or 6 post-origin when teams are stacked and you want the sit v starts and playing them based on strength of opposition each week. But rarely happens early, but there's a fair case for it this year.
And I mean, if you are looking for an absolute out-and-out gun CTW, mate, let me point you in the direction of the Panthers' left edge. Isaac Tunga, hello. 210 points in 2 weeks. He's only scored 2 tries.
Jeez.
Not a bad footballer.
You must love owning him, mate.
I would.
How'd you only score 1,100 odd with him in your side?
Tell me about it. Very, very tough. But you look at the, in all seriousness, you have a look at the Panthers. They play the Knights this week, Bunnies next week, who they tend to beat every time they play them. Then he goes West Tigers, New Zealand Warriors.
What?
Fuck!
My ears just lighting up for Tungo. For Toto, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have him in my top 7, 8, but mad pod.
Yeah.
680K now. Like, started the year 33, 55, 41. Massacred my poor old Raiders. Yeah, good pod play, but I don't have him in my top 5.
Yeah, not in my top 1. All right, next, this question comes from Billy Mitchell. I've sort of already answered this one. Hoskins' minutes to drop with Garner and Martin's return. I don't believe so, mate. I'm pretty confident from what I've heard that Hosking has grabbed that right edge and he will remain there. I think Nath is a huge fan of him. I think Ivan's a huge fan of him, which doesn't shock me in the slightest.
Yeah, and they've just put on 50 and 44 points, which I know is nothing unusual for the Panthers, but why change it?
They weren't doing that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, thoughts. This is an interesting one. Jace under 16. Thoughts on going Hopgood to Maddo. Maddo is the only real 2RF at the moment that I really, really want. I'm going to try and get him this week. If Hopgood is your worst 2RF, I can understand making this move. But if you've got Cartwrights, if you've got Wiltons, if there's a few guys there that I think I would maybe rather make the move on.
Yeah, you'd hope there'd be someone else you could move first, but I don't mind it. Playing big minutes.
Yes.
After being what did he average last year? 56 minutes per game. That's what he did. He came off the bench, played 56 straight on. I mean, his first 2 games back from suspension, he played majority on the edge, so bigger minutes there. Look, he doesn't need massive minutes, but he is averaging 75 minutes this season. Junior Bolo back, Sean Lane back, Hopgood on the bench. Does he revert to 55, 60 minutes?
Yeah, we haven't. That's the thing with Maddo. We haven't seen him with everyone.
You would think so. As I said, that it doesn't matter. Like, he averaged 56 minutes last year, averaged 66 points. So he can still score well. Don't mind him to trade him. Don't love it.
All right, our last question comes from Matt A21. Hey, mate, how many trades do you boys have left? So, as it stands for me right now, before this week, I've got 36 left and I've got 3 boosts left. Haven't made any trades this week, so that will go down. But 36 for me and 3 boosts. What do you got, T-Rex?
I've got 37 left before this week and 4 boosts. So I think we've both done fairly well there in terms of having gone over top on boosts. I think we both saved a couple the first week. So pretty happy on the trade front, but almost certainly boosting this week.
Okay. So you boost this week, that'll leave you with 3. We'll have 3 each.
I'd have 3 left, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'll boost this week, but I haven't had a look at it yet. When are you planning to use your boost? What's
Origin period.
Yeah.
Plan will be probably 2 after 2 of the major buys, and then I will definitely be leaving at least 1, probably 1, but at least 1 for after that 3rd major buy round. That's when we're like, all right, focus on the run home, getting the best 17 you can get. Blokes coming off Origin that you sold due to missing games, you need to get them back in the team. We might find ourselves selling guys like Nathan Cleary, James Tedesco, Joel Mitchell by then, whoever it might be, and we'll want to get them back in straight away. So I think 3 trades post third major bye week it's a great time to use a boost.
Yeah, and I think as well with just how the comp's playing out at the moment, with how close it is, we always get to the back end of the season, you're trying to work out who's going to get rested and whatnot. I'm not sure how many of these teams are going to be able to afford to rest guys in those last few weeks. It's getting very exciting from that front. And even like your Panthers have already dropped 2 games. Granted, they're still sitting second on the ladder, but they've had a bye as well. Like, you have a look at all the teams at the top. None of them have, only 3 of them have had a bye yet. So this comp is going to be incredibly close. And you've still got, outside of that, you've got Manly, Rabbitohs, Sharks, Eels, Cowboys, Raiders. That's a lot of teams that people would have had in their top 8 at the start of the season, and that will find form at some point.
You look at sides like the Bunnies where, look, like a Latrell, if you play centre in Origin, if they're not top 8, and look, really they'll be fighting for top 4 at some point or top 8, someone like Latrell might back up, where otherwise if they were comfy top 4 and killing it, he would definitely rest.
Yep.
Someone like Val Holmes, with the way the Cowboys are going, and he'll be backing up from Origin, I'd imagine, but obviously barring injuries. The Panthers are going to be the worry because they'll probably continue to kill it. So they'll like Bizarre, Cleary, etc., have a rest. But it's a great point because a lot of these key players around Origin, if their teams aren't going well, they'll back up. Like if the Storm start dropping a few more games, they've had a bit of form, but maybe we see like Mad Dog back up. Yeah.
So many options there. It's going to be. I can't
it's
wait.
Good. It's exciting year. It's quite
very good.
Wide open.
Yeah. All right, mate. Let's move to our capsies. We'll bring her home now. For me, I think Nath Cleary is the absolute standout here. He plays Saturday 5:30 against the Newcastle Knights. I know the Knights have been putting up a fantastic fight, but without Brayley, still waiting for other guys to return. Adam Elliott, KP. I think this might be too much of a big task for the Newcastle Knights. So Nath very much so interests me.
I haven't thought twice about this one, mate. Nathan Cleary, skipper for sure. I wish Reece Walsh was playing before the Panthers as a VC option.
Yep.
But, I haven't looked past Nathan Cleary there. 21 that sold, just went 124, 158. Thank you.
Yep. You got what you deserved.
Yeah, so that certainly softened the blow a little bit for the Nicho Hines ambush the 2 weeks before when a lot of people flipped Cleary to him, so that made me feel a lot better. VC, for me, will be between Val Holmes and Tom Trebojevic. I'm thinking Tommy Turbo. Coming off a low score, I'm hoping people don't VC him, but because going back to the loophole before that we mentioned, I love Nathan Cleary's matchup with the Knights, so I'd need a big score for it to happen. Who's most likely to have a big score? Tom Trebojevic. If he goes maybe 140, 150 plus, Val could do it, but the Warriors have been really good this season. It's over at Mount Smart. The Cows are struggling, so I think Tommy's the most likely to do it.
Yeah, and I know a lot of keen Supercoach players would obviously be aware of it, but for those that are new to the game, whatever, we obviously didn't mention Nicho Hines there because he's halfback. Yep. Nathan Cleary's halfback, so you can't VC Nicho anyway, so just keep that in mind for those that are pulling their hair out.
Would you consider going straight Nicho captain ahead of Cleary?
Fuck no.
No, me either.
No way. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it. He might score 110, you'll still be heaps wrong.
Yeah.
It's just not worth doing it. I personally don't think it's worth the risk of losing touch with everyone else.
He'd probably need to score 130 in that game for you to be going into the Penrith game going, this shouldn't hurt me too bad at worst.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Nath, don't outthink the room. Just take him this week. Even if the Knights put up one of the great fights of all time, if the Knights win, I'm still confident Nath manages to get to 80 or 90. Yeah. She'll take every day of the week. So, yep. Guys, as we said off the top of the show, Blue Wealth Property, 27th of April, I believe it is. 27th of April, 6:30 p.m. kickoff. You can be in at Sydney Olympic Park at Blue Wealth headquarters. Great place. They do have a ping pong table, we can confirm.
Sweet venue.
Very sweet venue. People are great in there. You'll have an unreal time. Or you can join via the webinar. So once you're done with this Supercoach webinar, you can get yourself ready for that one in a couple of weeks. The link is in the description on podcast, on YouTube. If you can't find it, send myself or Timmy a message and we'll send you in the right direction. Mate, I'm going to bid you farewell now for a couple of weeks. I was saying to Bex, she goes, oh, how are the boys going to go without you? I go, Kempy won't even notice I'm gone. Tim, though. Tim's going to miss me. It reminded me of when Marge went to Rancho Relaxo and she was on the train and Homer's chasing it, asking all the questions. You're chasing it going, how do I open the app? Who do I captain? Do I trade in Isaac Tungo? What do I do? You chasing the train, me going,
what does sit v start mean? I need direction.
Nah, you'll do well next week, mate. I'm very, very excited to tune in with a cocktail in hand, club sandwich in the other. Probably already be fighting with Beck, so it'll be a treat. And the great Tommy Sangster coming in to join us.
Great Tommy Sangster. He's a good listen, the big fella, and very good man. Tommy, can't wait for the show. And, mate, I mean, I'll see you, but good luck for the big day on Friday.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. And good luck to Tommy Sangster coming into this seat. Go from the guru to the hooroo. Can't wait to see how he goes, mate. Yeah, see you on Friday. Mate, I've got a lot of friends and everything that are weirdly excited to meet you and Maddie.
Only human, mate.
Yeah. Well, I've put the bar very high for you. So
Yeah, when they see me after 20 tins of beer, they'll reassess that pretty quickly.
no doubt whatsoever. No doubt. All right, guys. I won't be here next week. Timmy will be steering the ship, so I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Best of luck with your Supercoach captains and everything. Go out this weekend, grab yourself a case of Bloke in a Bar, and get stuck into it.